everybody, and welcome to hydrocycle fly fishing. Today we're gonna tie an Imago of an Ephemera danica, a hatched Ephemera danica. So to start off with, I'm gonna use a Gamakatsu F11 3F. It's a very nice long shanked hook, and it's very thin in the wire, so it's a very good fly tying hook for these big dry flies. So I'm gonna start the thread up close to the eye, and the thread I'm using is a uni size 8/0 in the color Rusty Dun. So I'm gonna cover the hook shank with the thread. And this is a very easy pattern, quickly to tie and don't demand a lot of materials. I'm gonna use some badger for the tails. Just gonna find 3 ones that's as straight as possible. And they also have these white tips. I'm gonna try to find someone that looks a lot like each other. Just gonna pull them off like that. So, and then we're gonna even the tips so they all have the same length. Then I'm gonna measure how long the tails are gonna be. Just around from the hook eye to where the thread stops. You don't want those with very long tails. That's only for when the danicas are flying and they have to, and when they're falling down. It's like the dance that they do. It's very nice to look at. But when they're on the water, mostly they have shorter tails. This is also gonna make it easier for the fish to get the fly into the hook, to get the fly in their mouth. Otherwise, you can just risk that the tails are just gonna push the fly out of their mouth. So I'm gonna tie them in just for a couple millimeters. Try to gather them on top there. So then we're gonna spread them out. So we're gonna have a tail to the left, middle, and the right. So I'm gonna spread them out. Gonna take the thread underneath to lift up the tail fibers. Go forward, back again, spread out the tail so they don't collapse. This is gonna leave a nice print on the top of the surface. So it looks like a real fly, danica fly on top of the surface. So there we go. Doesn't have to be precise. I'm gonna take some UV resin. Just a little bit. So little drop, put it down there between the tail fibers. And this is gonna make sure that even though I'm casting and fishing with this fly, I'm catching some fish with it, that the tail fiber is gonna spread out the whole time. So there we go. Torch it. I'm gonna shadow for the fly. I just need a little bit of shadow so I can see where I'm aiming with the UV pen. And if the tails aren't like you want them before you set the resin, then you can just pull them out and then go in with the light. So cut off the tag ends. And I'm gonna take a good piece of moose mane hair, some leftovers. Before you tie these in, make sure that they're quite strong, that there's no flaws in it, because it's quite irritating if you tie it in, put on the dubbing, use this as the rib, and it's gonna break. Don't want that to happen. Cut a little bit off from the tip, so we get some more of the thick section. So tie that in. There we go. I'm gonna take some CDC dubbing in a pale yellow. So put it in the thread. And then we have to try to get a nice taper on the abdomen and the back body of this fly. As good as possible. This looks a little bulky, but we're gonna trim it. So just a bit more. Gonna leave just gonna dab the 2/3 of the back body, and we're gonna take the moose mane here and wrap it around, use it as a rib. So, and down the back you have to lay the turns quite tight, and when you get further up, then you need some more space in between. So get the thread there. So, and this part, when you put on the rib, then you turn around the hook shank the opposite way of the way you're tying with your thread. So I'm gonna tie it down, give it a couple of wraps. So there we go. Then we're gonna cut the taper. So see if we can get some of the fibers down the back here. So there we go. Looks decent. I'll put the back with the thread. I'm gonna take a hackle. This is a dry fly hackle in golden badger, and I left took some more fibers off from the stem. That's gonna be the underside when we turn the hackle around the fly. Then it's gonna lay down really nicely, and you're not gonna have hackle fibers sticking out everywhere out from the back. So tie it down. Gonna take some more CDC dubbing in dark gray. You can use black if you want to, but I like to use the dark gray. And apparently the fish likes it as well. So make a nice front body here. So I'm gonna take our hackle, turn it around. So give it 4 turns. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So tie it down. Just give it a couple of turns, then it's gonna sit there then tighten. So, off with that. And for the wing, I'm gonna use some Bleached Elk. It's very, very visible on a little dark river, a creek. So we don't need a lot. Less is more. And also, Ephemera danica has big wings. And the problem is, if you make the wing too bulky, then you're gonna end up with the fly tilting to the side, and that's not looking very good, and then it's also very difficult to spot on the surface. If you're fishing in between 10 or 20 other mayflies on the river, just gonna measure it off as long as the hook shank from eye to the bend. So I'm gonna make a loop around the elk hair and then tie it down so it stays together on a lump on top. Gonna take our thread, try to get it in between some of the elk hair here. So there we go. Force it a bit upwards. So, a couple turns in front of the hook eye, not in front, but guess you know what I mean, behind the hook eye. Whip finish. There we go. Go in with a scissor. Remove the thread. Cut off the tag ends of the elk hair, and for the last step, gonna cut underneath or the underside of the fly, so the fly will lay flat and the hackle will look like small legs right on top of the surface. So this is my go-to very, very easy Ephemera danica pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to, and see some more patterns. I can guarantee you in the future there's gonna be some other flies than dry flies. So I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.